Sup, Abba here. This time I will cut the time-lapse short and only show the key important parts of the process of how I 3D modeled Emilia from ReZero in Blender. As always, if you're interested in checking out the complete model, it's available at my Sketchfab page. My previous models are also available to buy on a bunch of different platforms. All the links will be in the pinned comment. Don't forget to leave a like on this video, it really helps. And subscribe to be notified when I release new videos. I start by extruding vertices with a mirror modifier to create the silhouette of the face. And while doing so, I try to keep in mind the shape of her face when it's seen at a 45-degree angle. Then I go around filling the quads, extruding the mouth-shaped vertices sideways, and by using some loose verts, I create the shape of the eyes. Keeping in mind not to make the upper eyelid verts be in front of the lower lid verts in the y-axis, so they are able to close properly when I create the shape keys for her blink animation. The ears are really annoying for me to this day. I just use quads and go around the silhouette of the reference image. The interior part of the ear is just extruded inwards. Then I attach it to the head by merging verts where possible. Since this is an anime-style character, I generally create the proper shape of the ears later by painting line art into the texture. By adding edge creases in some places around the model, I make sure the subdiv modifier does not destroy the original shape and volume of the face. And then, I use sculpt tools to adjust the shape and to smooth some of the loops. The eyes are just a simple circle, extruded into the shape of a disc for the iris, then placed floating inside the eye socket. The eyelashes are duplicated from the eyelid quads, then extruded outwards to create the shape. With some small quad strips, I add detail with little lashes. The highlights for the eyes are simple circles floating slightly in front of the iris. For the starting shape of the hair, I use two curves. The first curve is shaped in the profile of what the second curve will use to fill the mesh for the hair strands. Then I simply duplicate the original points of the second curve and go around the head filling the overall volume of hair with them. For the braids on top her head, I get my butt absolutely kicked when trying to figure them out, until I give up and follow a tutorial, like any decent person should. If you're interested in seeing the entire process, you can become a member at my Ko-fi page, where I'll upload the full time lapses of my 3D models. The body starts with a simple cube with a mirror modifier. Then I simply extrude the loops down, keeping in mind the shape of the front view and side view references while doing so. The knee uses two triangles on each side of the leg pointed forward to keep a nice deformation when they bend. The same trick is applied later on the joints of her fingers. Now is a simple process of going around the mesh, deleting some loops, rerouting some quads, and adjusting the shape while smoothing things with the sculpting tools. Here I model her feet, even though I will delete it later to model her boots. But it doesn't really matter, since it's good to just practice sometimes. For the hands, I extrude some verts in the profile of the puffy parts of the hand, then extrude the edges to create the 3D shape of the hands. Then by using circles, I do the same thing for the finger. For the joints, I use the same trick of the knee, then simply duplicate the finger around while adjusting their sizes. And now is just a matter of merging the fingers to the hand and then the hand to the wrist. I start the dress with a simple vert with a mirror modifier, and go around her body extruding the verts while using the magnet in face projection mode to attach the edges close to the body. Then I go down extruding the edges to create the overall shape of the dress. While doing so, I make a crucial mistake with the shape of the arm cloth thingy. That will cause me a lot of headache later down the project. The skirt is made by adding a circle with a bunch of verts, selecting them all, check or deselecting half, and rotating them in the Z axis. Then I just extrude the entire edge to create the initial shape of a skirt. By using sculpt tools, I adjust the shape to match closely to the reference image. Then I use the same technique I used until now to model all the other parts of her outfit. To model the teeth, I just use a regular cylinder, delete what is not needed, then extrude the upper and lower edges inwards to create volume. The tongue is a simple cube with a subdiv modifier, which is squashed down into a tongue-shaped disc. Then all of them are carefully placed inside the mouth. Now I go back to the hair curves, turn them into regular meshes, select some edges, then by pressing V or by selecting Vertex, rip vertices in the Mesh menu. I cut them off to create smaller hair strands. Then I fill the gaps between the new strands with quads. By using sculpting tools, I move the strands around to match the reference image. Now I just go around her outfit using the knife tool to add some topology and change some shapes, like adding folds to the clothes. Now I add the Rigify rig, delete all the face bones, scale the rig to Emilia's size, then in edit mode, I place the bones inside the mesh. I bind all the meshes to the created rig with automatic weights. Then, in weight paint mode, I correct any problems with the way the meshes are deforming. No secret, just time-consuming. Another simple but time-consuming part of the process is UV unwrapping all the meshes. I just look around the mesh and try to think of parts of the model that are like cylinders and put the seams on the edges I find would unwrap without deforming too much. Since this model will be used in VRChat, I try to create just 2 materials with 2 textures, so I organize the UV islands of every mesh of her body together in one UV space, and in another space, all the UV islands of the meshes of her clothes and hair. Now, in the shader node screen, I add an empty texture to an emission shader node. Then in the texture paint screen in edit mode, I select the faces and add all the base colors with the paint bucket. After all the base colors are applied, I use the brushes to paint in the details. And we finally reach the point of the process in which I realize the huge mistake I've made when modeling her dress. There's nothing to be done here but delete that part of the mesh, make a new one, unwrap it, weight paint it, and paint its texture again. No problem. With a color mix node, I add a second completely white texture, and by painting on it with black, I can paint some shadows and line art. The colors and intensity of the shadows can later be adjusted with a few nodes in the shader menu, kinda like Photoshop's layer blending styles. By erasing the alpha channel of the texture with a brush, I can add transparency and detail to her clothes without changing the mesh's structure. I use the Face It add-on for Blender to create a face rig and all the 52 base VRChat shape keys. Then I go and clean each shape key by hand to make sure they work together without clipping and glitching. After the model is complete, I export it as an FBX, import it to Unity, and configure the physics, emotes, shaders, and toggles of the avatar. Then I go in-game and test to see if everything is working. You can check the finished 3D model at my Sketchfab page. And if you want to download the model and her VRChat avatar for yourself, they are available on my Gumroad page. As always, thank you for watching. See you next time.